We are here live outside the Hendry County Courthouse in Hendry County, Florida, LaBelle, and this is a sizable group of residents who have gathered for this trial, including members of the Seminole tribe in Florida, and this is Samuel Tommy, who's representing the Seminole tribe, as well as Madeline Duran, Dr. Madeline Duran, who has been all over this issue, as well as the plaintiff, one of the plaintiffs. If I could ask you to turn around this way, sir, for the light, Billy Stevens, who was part of the suit and who testified in court. The trial is now over. The judge says he's going to render his opinion. All of you turned out in force for this trial. What do you make of the trial so far, Billy Stevens?
Jane, it's up in the air right now. I think most of us in our heart have a feeling of which direction it's headed. This county is in such turmoil. It's corrupt. There's underlining things being done in this county. It technically should be burnt and start over. The people that run this place, it's not the commissioners. It's the people below. They tell them. It's a farce. I've lived in a lot of places here most of my life, but I have never seen a place that lets you get away with almost anything you want. Well, I mean, we can raise hippos and tigers and lions, and I don't have to inform none of y'all that I'm going to do that.
We have people like this who make decisions by a phone call.
Yeah, well, I'm not showing your face, but you're referring to one of the people who approved this laboratory monkey breeding facility.
We're all gathered here because we're not happy, and there's a lot more of us, but most people have to work. And I took off my time to come here for this, to listen, and disappointed.
Well,
the verdict's not out yet.
The verdict's not out yet, so let's.
But
let's
I
wait
can,
for
but
that.
I can still be.
Yeah.
I can still be disappointed in this county. And from what I've seen of this trial, it's opened my eyes a little bit more. And I'm going to stick with some of these fine people, and we're going to try and turn things around here, because it is a wonderful place to live. But the way it is, I've never seen a county run like this.
Well, one of the things that I'd like to say that was when it was revealed that when a press release was issued by Hendry County after this scandal broke, the powers that be in Hendry County ran the press release from the county past the company that was at the center of the scandal. As opposed to representing the people, it seemed that they were more interested in allowing the companies at the center of the scandal to approve the press release. What did the folks here think about that? All right, I'm going to go Madeline Duran.
It was typical of what they are doing. In fact, they rewrote the description for animal husbandry after they approved the monkey breeding facilities. So they contort whatever it is they wish to do. There are 3 county commissioners in Hendry County that are up for re-election, and we want each of them out of office. And we're going to do all we can for the people who are running against them.
You're talking about Carson Turner, Janet Taylor, and Don Davis. I want to go to this lady because you testified eloquently at a Hendry County Commission hearing where you begged them essentially to show some humanity regarding these tens of thousands of monkeys, many of whom, I always say whom, are taken from the wild, ripped from their families, and put in tiny boxes and cages and shipped here first here and then off to be tortured in laboratories. What's your reaction after observing this 2-day trial?
I'm very shocked that no one seems to be aware of the problem that is being introduced to our environment, the water table, which we already have such a great problem with, and then, of course, our future. As far as I've been able to ascertain, there hasn't been primates on this continent in 33 million years or so. So I just don't think they belong here. I think people and domestic animals first.
What would you say to the people of Hendry County who have to make a decision about whether or not to re-elect these three incumbents, Carson Turner, Don Davis, and Janet Taylor?
Well, I'm a Christian, and I ask everyone to pray about your vote in any election. That's my only advice. Thank you.
All right. What was your reaction? You've been watching the entire case. You're a businessman in this area. You've had a lot of experience with business. What would you say, Lex, as far as your observations of this trial?
It has been established clearly by this case that there may be 50,000 monkeys coming into this county, and the citizens should beware, because the county will give you no notice if they're going to put a big monkey farm right next to your property. This is a deplorable situation. This trial is just one step in a process to bring this county into conformity with being fair to all the people. Thank you.
You say one step. There is another lawsuit that's getting underway, and you are the plaintiff in that lawsuit, Samuel Tommy of the Seminole Tribe of Florida. So you came here and watched this trial and observed this trial with your case in mind. What are your thoughts?
Well, my court case is still in early process, and my thoughts on this is that it's going to take too much time. I want to see these facilities shut down as soon as possible.
Can I interrupt you? Does everybody want to see these facilities shut down? Okay, continue on.
Yes, plus the Zika virus is a problem, and it can become a very, very serious problem before we know it. We don't know. The problem might already be existing, as far as we know, or we don't know if it is. So these facilities need to be shut down as soon as possible, and I feel like these court cases and hearings are going to take too much time.
Well, I mean, they take the time that they take, but they're better than nothing. I mean, if it weren't for you and the plaintiffs in this case, like Billy Stevens and the other plaintiffs here. Oh, yes, I didn't see you there, Carol Gray. Turn around right here. You've been, you're a wonderful community member. You spoke very eloquently on the stand. What are your thoughts after watching this two-day trial and participating in it as a plaintiff and a witness?
I'm extremely upset. We for the past 2 days, we have seen how Hendry County is able to operate underneath the Sunshine Law and keep its citizens unaware of what's going on. And I'd also like to add, our county commissioners were given a subpoena to attend this meeting, and they did not show. It's my understanding that the court squashed it.
So you would have liked to have seen the county commissioners, including Carson Turner, Don Davis, and Janet Taylor, who are up for re-election, on the witness stand being grilled.
For what it might be worth.
Yes. All right. Well, you're a plaintiff. You're a plaintiff. I know you have put in a lot of time and you have to go, but I want to thank you both for having the courage of your convictions. Do we want to give them a round of applause for having the courage of their convictions? Yes. Yes, heroes. You are heroes for standing up for what you believe is right. And also, I think everybody here is a hero for speaking for voiceless
Jane.
Animals.
And thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Jane works out.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Now we have over here the two attorneys who represented Carol Gray, Billy Stevens, and the other plaintiff Keely, Sincota. Three incredible individuals who just got a round of applause for having the courage of their convictions. So, Justine, I'm going to ask you just to turn this way. How do you think it went?
I think it went really well. We were able to present our case as we wanted it to, and we highlighted some really important points about how the county has had an ever-changing position on primate breeding that has the one thing that hasn't changed is they haven't informed the public of what their position is.
And I know, and I could ask also Chris Berry, your co-counsel who represents the Animal Legal Defense Fund, to step over here just for the lighting purposes. What I thought was really interesting is when you said, well, okay, you can allow any number of animals according to your line of reasoning when you're questioning a
Yes.
former county official, and any type of animal. So you said 1,000 rhinos. You know, I was thinking, well, hundreds of thousands of animals, because one of the scary parts of this whole thing is that nobody knows how many animals are going in, and we've heard reports of experts looking at some of the plans and some of the blueprints that it could be tens of thousands of monkeys. Nobody really knows.
We don't have any details, and it also is alarming that the Hendry County thinks that their code can be interpreted to allow anything. And one of the points that I hope you brought up in the court today is the fact that if that's the case, then why do you have a code? I mean, why don't you just say anything goes and leave it at that? But that's because that's not what the code says.
Yeah, and what's I think really troubling is the fact that there is a limitation in the code already, and that limits agriculture to domestic animals. Animal husbandry, like horses, sheep, pigs, etc., is clearly intended and clearly states that it applies to domesticated animals, and that's the standard that exists in the zoning code. So we can avoid the absurdity of hundreds of thousands of elephants or tens of thousands of monkeys simply by interpreting the zoning code as written to apply only to domestic animals.
Well, and I also want to thank Animal Legal Defense Fund for taking up this case. I mean, I know you've put hundreds of hours of work into this, and that's truly extraordinary. And so I just want to thank both of the attorneys who worked so hard and had so much documentation. I was just in awe looking through just the sheer mass of research and depositions and other trial documents that you had. So I'm sure you built some muscle coming in and out with those. We just want to say thank you, and our fingers are crossed.
Absolutely.
All right. All right. Oh, okay. Yeah, let's get some photos. Get together. Again, we are outside the Hendry County Courthouse. The trial has just ended, what's being called the Monkeygate trial here in Hendry County, a beautiful bucolic county filled with, incredible wildlife and foliage, and marred by the discovery that there had been secret approval of massive laboratory monkey breeding facilities without notifying any of the people in this community, including people who live right nearby, who were horrified and outraged, and who said that their property values have plummeted and that they are absolutely just devastated by something that they should have been able to weigh in on and that they weren't able to weigh in on. So now we have the lead attorneys from Animal Legal Defense Fund, Chris Berry, as well as Justine Cowan, who did most of the arguments. And Chris Berry did the questioning of the plaintiffs, and Justine Cowan did the questioning of a lot of the witnesses, most of the witnesses, other than the plaintiffs, and what a team they were. And here we are taking a photograph, and people are taking photographs of all the folks who showed up from Southwest Florida to attend this crucial trial. Again, Hendry County Commission is a key factor here. You can see them online, and there were 3 county commissioners up for re-election. These folks say, throw the bums out, is what they're saying in baseball terminology. All right, I could tell. Velez-Mitchell reporting from Hendry County, Florida. And the irony is that the motto of Hendry County, Florida is sweet, friendly country. That's what it says in all the signs around here, and I think everybody can agree that kidnapping monkeys from the wild, sticking them in cages, shipping them across the world, prepping them again to be shipped out for horribly painful, torturous animal experimentation, that doesn't jive with sweet, friendly country. Reporting from Hendry County, Florida, I'm Jane Velez-Mitchell for Jane Unchained.